Hello everyone, it's Al Nygren, Executive Director and Curator of the New Jersey Film Festival, back with the last of our Filmmaker interviews for the Fall 2017 Film Festival that we'll be holding at Rutgers University on select Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings between September 15th and November 3rd. The program itself will take place at Voorhees 105 on the beautiful Rutgers University campus in downtown New Brunswick. We're at 71 Hamilton Street, easy to get to from the New Brunswick train station. We have a wonderful theater space that seats about 250 people, has stadium seating, always very, very nice sight lines at any one of the seats. And added benefits to seeing the films that we're going to be offering is that we have visiting filmmakers. And today we have Jordan Harwitz, director of the wonderful film Painless, feature film, which will be screening on the last day of the competition part of our festival, which is October 8th. Welcome, Jordan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Jordan, you're actually a second-time finalist because your documentary film, The Angel of Nanjing, won Best Documentary back in 2015, so welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here again.
But this is a feature film, so is this your first feature?
It's my first feature narrative film, yeah. Correct.
And tell us a little bit about Painless.
Okay, well, while I was in China making Angel of Nanjing, I had a lot of downtime, and I had this idea for a film that I wanted to do for a long time, and I would just, go to private places and coffee shops and just work on the script whenever I could. And when we were in a good place in post-production on Angel of Nanjing, I immediately jumped into pre-production on this. So we kind of did them in tandem, which was a grueling process, but it helped in a lot of ways getting it out in a good amount of time.
So your lead character, Henry Long, he reminds me a lot of Christopher Walken. I think he has that same vibe.
I've heard that.
A kind of brooding vibe. But he's an important character because he feels no physical pain.
Correct. He has a very rare medical condition. It's a real medical condition, and he can't feel any physical pain. He can feel everything else. And because of that, the idea started where I had read about these kids that had the condition, and unfortunately, because of the nature of it, a lot of them don't live to be very old because they get injured in some way that they're not aware of, and it causes long-term problems. So I began imagining what would it be like for somebody to live to adulthood with this condition, and I began visualizing this very lonely, isolated character who's overly cautious and protective, and that does serve a purpose of helping him survive, but it also keeps him alienated from society.
From everyone else.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, he has two people that try to bring him out of his shell, the doctor, the good doctor. There's the good doctor and the bad doctor.
Yeah, there's the yin and yang. Yeah,
very
exactly.
much so. I thought the same thing. And then there's this wonderful actress who plays Shani. She's really terrific, as well as the fellow who plays Henry. Tell us a little bit about both of those.
Yeah, okay, well, those were both the two hardest parts to cast, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
We're a very small movie. It's very micro budget, and usually when you do smaller movies, the acting tends to be uneven, and because this is a drama and those roles were so heavy, it was so important to me to find the right people to play them, and we spent months and months casting all over the country, actually. Actually, Joey Klein, who plays Henry, is from Canada.
Wow.
And Evelina Marie, who plays Shani, we got her out of LA at the time. Cool. So it was very difficult to find them, and we were very lucky to have them on our budget.
Very much so, and I think, despite the fact that the film is quote-unquote small, I still see the production values are very high.
Thank you.
It looks very sophisticated. It is a tight film. It is a compact film. And I think that mirrors pretty much what Henry's going through.
Yeah. I have to give a lot of credit to my editor, James Kodianis. He did an amazing job, and Sophie Marshall, who also helped out. They did an amazing job carving the meat of the story and really finding the center of it. So.
At the very beginning of the film, you focus on Henry as a child with his family, and that was shot on VHS?
No, actually, my dad had loaned me a very small, very outdated mini DV camera. People had talked about shooting it on a RED and then downgrading it, but I wanted it to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah, it looks like it.
We did a test with a VHS camera.
With the dropouts and everything.
Yeah, it didn't work at all with the VHS. So we ended up doing it on mini DV and then downgrading it a little bit more to get that look.
Yeah, but the kid also makes it look convincing that he really does stick his hand in boiling water and has this bruise. How were you able to do the special effects?
We had a great props guy, Skippy Adams, and he basically cut a hole in this this pot, and he was using air. He was blowing air basically into the water, and it's causing this boiling effect. But it was just room temperature
It's just
water.
cool.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So tell us about the fellow who plays the bad doctor and the good doctor.
So Kip Gilman plays Dr. Raymond Parks, he's Henry's doctor. He's a pain management specialist, but he's also a mentor figure.
Right.
Henry, because he's so obsessed with feeling normal, he's dedicated his life to trying to find a cure to this disease. And Ray is kind of like his sounding board for crazy ideas. He's always got a crazy idea of what may or may not work. And he's also like the moral compass of the film. Okay. And then Dr. Andrews is, I wouldn't call him a quote-unquote bad guy, but he's
obsessed.
He's obsessed very much like Henry is. He feels a lot of pain. He has a condition that causes him to feel constant pain, and he's obsessed with also finding a cure not just for himself, but to help all the millions of people who are suffering pain, different forms of chronic pain. But he's willing to push the moral boundaries, and his ethics are questionable.
Very questionable.
And Henry, is kind of on the line when we start the film. He's kind of he kind of can go either way, and the film is very much the journey of which way will he fall.
Right. And I think, without giving anything away, the dynamics, I think he starts to find his way once he meets Shaney. And it's by accident she burns him with coffee, and it's very cool. And you shot that all on the fly, in the New York City subways?
Yes, guerrilla style, run and gun.
Very nice.
It's kind of the way I've always done things. So.
Well, folks, we're running out of time, but I wanted to say that Jordan's wonderful film is going to play on Sunday, October 8th, with two other terrific films, both coming from Israel. The first is called Soup by Sharon Shetriet, and it's about a woman who starts to have illusions or delusions as she's dealing with a pregnancy, and the soup becomes a metaphor. It's a very interesting film. And then a comedy by Nurit Cohn called The Little Dictator, which is the jury was laughing so hard I could hear them all the way down the hall when they were watching this film. So both of those films are in Hebrew. There'll be the prelims for Painless, and Jordan, you're going to be there for our screening. We still don't know that yet.
I'm going to do my best to be there.
All right, hopefully you'll be there. This program is co-sponsored also by the Rutgers University Centers for Global Advancement and International Affairs, and will be taking place again on Sunday, October 8th, starting at 7 p.m. in Voorhees Hall, room 105, on the Rutgers University campus in New Brunswick, New Jersey. There'll be free food courtesy of Jimmy John's of New Brunswick prior to the screening, first come, first serve. So come and hang out with us and see some really wonderful movies. Thanks so much for hanging with us, Jordan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Henry!
You can't just walk away from this.
Wait!
We're on the verge of a major breakthrough.
It's not science fiction. It's my life.
You're a scientist, push yourself.
I'm the one taking all the risks.
Henry. This isn't who you are.
Are you sure you don't want any anesthesia?